Hello, everybody. My name is Tristan Deming, and I'm doing my presentation on organic farming. The reason I'm doing organic farming is, I know we covered it, but I kind of wanted to give my own thoughts on the situation, kind of make a neat looking graphic for all of you guys. So I'm definitely looking forward to what everyone else has planned for their posters and everything. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this. So for my ethical type, I said that organic farming is largely utilitarianism. The reason it's utilitarianism is because the decision on whether organic farming should be the main source of our food or not is mostly based on what is the best for the majority of people, as well as the environment. That's pretty big here. The environment is a very big factor in why people want to go organic. But the reason that I chose utilitarianism over another one, such as maybe Kantianism, is I know that the motive between the consumers and the growers are going to be different. So that could be a good example of how it would be Kantian, but I think that utilitarianism is the best fit. And then over here, I have the certified organic USDA organic logo here and the little stamp that they put on all the food that you would find in the supermarkets that are certified organic. And I know we've seen this before, but I was just throwing it in there as like a refresher just so that we would remember what this looks like. So, some good things about organic farming. It has like a series of requirements that allow a farmer to be certified organic. Now, I guess it's worth noting right now that when I say organic farming, I'm talking generally about being certified organic. I know that you can be an organic grower without being certified organic, but this is kind of the guideline I'm going off of, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But so a couple of the desirable requirements are the prohibition of GMOs, and this can be seen as good or bad, but that's kind of just a whole different beast that I would have to get into. Um, and then also, there's a prohibition of many chemicals, including pesticides, which, I mean, it could make organic food be viewed as healthier because it's a natural growing process um, without all these pesticides and chemicals, which might harm you. There's not extensive research out there, but generally it's better to have less chemicals in the food you're eating. So, yeah, but it could be viewed as healthier because of this natural growing process. And it can also result in a conscious effort to keep the land workable for future generations. When I say this, I mean generally, the farmers who are certified organic are pretty conscious of the land they're working on because they want to be able to pass it down to future generations, like their kids and everything. So that's kind of just what I thought was generally good about organic farming. So the bad, I think that there are a lot of issues and misconceptions to going organic. Some examples of these are the expense, the health benefits, and the amount of food that you actually yield. And basically, many local growers can't afford to become certified organic. There's, that period of like 3 or so years where they are basically completely certified organic, but they don't have the stamp to prove that until after the 3 years. And I think that that can put a lot of local or smaller growers out of business, which is obviously bad. Um, Another thing that's kind of a misconception is organic growing, it began as a way to better the environment. Uh, Not to provide health benefits to people. So that's kind of just a general thing where people look at the word organic and they think, well, this is going to be healthier. That's not necessarily true. It's it's generally a way to better the environment, not health. And the last thing that I think is kind of an issue with it is it yields up to 25% less produce. That's a very noticeable setback. Um, there are a lot of bad things that go with this. It's less efficient. It's going to cost more. It's going to soak up more land and that sort of thing. So I definitely think that that's a con to organic farming. So the conclusion here, I think that it has pros and cons, but I do not believe we should be fully transitioning to it. I think it's just too expensive for many smaller growers, and it actually makes it more expensive for the consumer because, with little supply, it's going to be a higher cost. So it's always good for the consumer to be benefited as well as, the environment and the growers and all this stuff, but I think it's just too expensive. And it has fewer health benefits than we think, and it provides lower yields. I really just don't think that organic growing is worth it. I don't think that it's what we should be going towards in the future as far as being, as I said, certified organic here. I'm not saying that organic growing is bad in general, but I don't think that everybody should be certified organic, or I guess be required to be certified organic. I think that the answer is somewhere in between. We need to be conscious of the environment, the growers, and the consumers all the same. And I think a good way of doing this is actually through buying locally. Buying locally is great, like at a farmer's market, because you know where that food is coming from. You're helping out the local growers in your area, which it's notable that they are going to be wanting to take care of their land as well, because it's their land and they're not a huge corporation that has just loads of money that they can spend on whatever they need. So I think that that's kind of like a good medium, is going to the farmers markets instead of maybe the grocery store. I know that the grocery store is convenient, but if you want a good way to support a form of organic farming that isn't necessarily certified organic, I think that the farmers markets are a way to go. But yeah, so thank you for listening to what I have to say about this. I know I went a little over 5 minutes here, but I just wanted to make sure I got all the information in. I have a couple of these um, little infographic type things here. So I have the GMOs, I have the badge showing that it's time and money, and then here is just kind of a small little map of the number of certified organic farms by state. The darker they are, the more organic farms there are. But yeah, thank you for listening to my presentation, and I'm looking forward to what everybody else has to say. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys all in the question segment of this assignment.